If you're looking for a day trip from Belgrade, then this little city on the banks of the incredible Danube River, about 30 miles from the capital, may just be what you're looking for. In this video, I'll tell you how I got here. There's a couple of options, but I think I chose the easiest and cheapest way. We'll head into the older quarter and see the landmarks and sites there, and we'll explore this magnificent fortress that dates back to the 15th century. You can see we've got some storm clouds coming in. The thunder has actually been rolling for about the last hour, but not even that can deter my visit to the place some call the city of iron and grapes. Welcome to Smederevo in Serbia. We've come out at the southwest corner of the fortress now, and there's a warning sign here. I think it's warning of the trains that potentially may come along these tracks that are right here in front of us. We won't go too far. I'm not sure if they're still used, although I can see some oil carriages and containers over there. There's the south wall of the fortress itself, and as I come around here, there's the old port. I'm not sure if it's still in use, but that's where the barges would come in, and that crane would hoist the stock off of the boats and barges as they came in. As I walk back here as well, I could see just up here, this is called the flag tower, by the way, and I could see an entrance getting in just there. Right, let's see if we can follow this wall along. It's getting higher. There we go. Let's just hold on to the actual wall of this tower and we'll see if we can... Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Made it. Okay, we're inside, and what have we got here? Look at this. Authentic flag tower, this particular one. It's got quite a lot of trees and debris all over the place. We've got some kind of underground compartment here. Looks like it's just being used as a rubbish dump at the moment. Maybe a basement area for the tower. In there you can see planks of wood and trees growing. Plenty of mosquitoes as well. I don't know if you can see those. But yeah, this is just an incredible place to come. As I continued to explore, I noticed that the sky was growing considerably darker. And just as I was about to set up a shot so that I could tell you about the fortress and what it has become, I saw a flash of lightning and the rumbling of not so distant thunder closing in. I didn't get to record anything as the rain started falling, but if I had have done, then I would have told you a little about the fortress itself. Let's start though with how I actually got here. Even though there's a train station and plenty of tracks in Smederevo, there is no direct route from Belgrade. So if you aren't keen on a complicated and long train journey, then the bus is going to be your only option. They leave regularly from Belgrade's main bus terminal, which is about 10 minutes walk from the city centre. The journey takes around 75 minutes, and the route uses mainly B roads which have a few curves and a few bends, but nothing too bad. There's a few ways to buy a ticket, but I used the Omio app, which didn't require any text messaging verification and accepted Apple and Google Pay, so it was really easy.
A return ticket cost me around £10, which works out to be around €12. And the buses, I think it's fair to say, were old but solid, and they offered air conditioning, ran on time, and it was good to see the real Serbia from the window as we drove along. As for the fortress itself, well, it was designed and built as an entire medieval city, and as a consequence there are two main parts. The fortified suburb, which is now a park area with benches, trees, a running track and a playground, and the inner city, which, all being well with the weather, I'm hoping to head to next. Smederevo Fortress is triangular shaped and one of Europe's largest medieval lowland fortresses, covering an area of approximately 10 hectares, equivalent to around 15 football pitches. It served as the capital of Serbia and is now one of the most important historical structures in the country.
Well, we are going to start today with a crazy thunderstorm. That storm that I told you about in the intro is here. It is lightning, it is raining like crazy. We've got a real downpour going right now. I'm cowering under an entrance to the fortress, but that's not keeping me wet anymore. Oh, it's getting, right. Right. It's torrential. My word, look at that, it has turned. Hopefully it passes by pretty quickly. That's where the camera was a second ago. I thought it was nice and safe in there, keep it dry. Not to be. This is the entrance that I'm standing in. Look at this, what a place. An iron gate here as well. Over that wall there, lightning again. That's the Danube over there. Not the start I wanted to this video. Lightning, thunder, rain. I have brought it with me from England. I found my way into the fortified inner city now, and in order to get into here you do have to pay. There's a ticket office on the entrance and it costs 250 Serbian dinar to enter. That is just under £2 sterling or just over €2. And this part of the fortress is the best preserved, and it's also the most important place, occupying a small triangle in the larger triangular shaped fortress complex. So let me just give you a little bit of context as to where I am. If I head through here, I am going underneath one of 4 towers, and as I come out you can see where I was previously a few moments ago. There's the park and the running track. Down here we have a moat. That would have meant that the inner city had moats and water all around it. And you can see down there is the courtyard. Over there is the keep with the destroyed roof. Down there would have been the palace area, although that is mostly destroyed now. The throne hall would have been there, and then in the corner would have been the fortified gate. Well, if you see steps, you've got to climb them, so that's what I'm going to do here. Let's talk about the history of Smederevo Fortress as we're heading up and how all of this came to be. Well, Smederevo for a while was the temporary capital of Serbia, and the inner city, the area that I'm in right now, this fortified place, was completed in 1430 by the Serbs. The outer area, the park that we visited a little while earlier, was completed in 1439, and at the time, if you look out down the Danube, the Ottoman Turks were trying to take this area. There was siege after siege after siege. We are heading up there next, by the way, up that ladder-like staircase. I think we'll go up now. The Ottoman Turks were trying everything they could to take the area, And in 1459, they succeeded. They took Smederevo and with it the fortress as well. And they added some of the defensive mechanisms. The outer wall was added by the Ottomans, I think a few hundred years later, but this is where I am right now. This is the highest point in the fortress complex. You can see out there the mighty river. There's the moat and the park area, which is where we were a little while back. And what I want to do now is just take a look over the actual inner fortified city. What a spectacular place. That building there is the water tower, I believe. And you can see the courtyard down there that we saw a little while earlier. What a magnificent place. Right, back down, I think. This is going to be, I think we're going to have to go down backwards. We don't want to end up toppling, especially with these wet conditions. This is how the inner fortified city would have looked back in the day. 4 towers that we walked through a moment ago, roofs intact. And the palace down there, number 6, that was the palace that doesn't really exist now. And as we look up, we can see those 4 fortified towers, minus some of the roofs and the upper sections, which I guess have fallen down and smashed over the years. And then the palace would have been here. You can still see some of the walls, a stage area set up. Guessing there are concerts and events in here sometimes. This entire fortified inner city, by the way, was built in 2 years, 1428 to 1430. Quite impressive. It's amazing what you can do when you need to. And this would have been the palace, so I would have been walking through it right now. Only the outline of the walls remain, sadly. And I'm sure back in the day, this would have been the grand entrance to that palace. So steps going up, and there would have been some kind of incredible entrance right about here, but now the steps go to nowhere. Incredible to think that people 400 or 500 years ago were putting these blocks and bricks down. Here's something I'll remember. When I came in, this entire section here was full of water, and there was no way I was going to be able to get across. So I went over there, picked up a large slab and laid it in the water so I could step on it and cross to get in. And would you believe it? When I entered it was raining. When I'm exiting, it is once again raining. Well, that's where I was trying to cower from the rain a couple of hours ago now. Didn't work very well. Thought I was well safe in there, but the rain still got me. Umbrella still up. Unfortunately, it is still a damp and wet day. In any event, I think I have had a good look around the fortress here. An amazing place. I'm going to head now over the road and in towards the main town.
I decided to take one last walk around the fortress before leaving, so that I could see up close the architecture and design, knowing that if I ever come back, things could look very different. Although restoration is underway, there's plenty of concerning cracks and damaged brickwork that will hopefully someday be patched up. What I didn't know when I left the fortress is that it wouldn't stop raining for the rest of the day. Occasionally it would ease up and lure me into thinking it had passed, only for it to strike back harder than before. I headed back across the train tracks, keeping a watchful eye for any unexpected trains or carriages as I went. I grabbed lunch at a small cafe where a burger and coffee set me back £3.30. That is under €4. And then as I headed towards the old town, a large monument caught my eye.
If you're wondering what became of the castle and how it ended up being so damaged and ruined, well, the answer lies in this small square about 20 or 30 meters from the exit of the fortress. This small square contains the memorial you can see behind me, clad in white marble. There are images on it of working people, and the date inscribed is the 5th of June 1941. It was the Second World War, and German troops were occupying Smederevo Castle and using it as a temporary ammunition dump. At 2:14 on the 5th of June 1941, an explosion caused by that ammunition set off a series of other explosions within the fortress complex that not only damaged the fortress itself, but destroyed most of the public and private buildings in the town of Smederevo, as well as killing approximately 1,200 Serbian civilians. Many more than that were injured, and signs of the blast could be seen over 5 miles away. More lightning. More thunder? It's coming.
Indeed it was. But it didn't stop me from finding Republic Square, which is often considered to be the heart of Smederevo. It's linked to a number of pedestrianised shopping streets. There's a distinct European influence in some of the architecture, and it's always good to see the city sign for all the photo ops, and brought to life by the movement of water fountains and swaying trees. The square was established in the early 1800s on the site of an old market that would connect the Serbian and Turkish districts. Perhaps though the most prominent feature of the square is the Serbian Orthodox Church of St. George, which was built between 1850 and 1854. The church is a testament to Serbian strength, as it was built just before Serbia gained full independence from the Ottoman Empire. It remains one of the largest churches built in Serbia during the 19th century. The Church of St. George has 5 domes, a bright white marble facade, and a bell tower which stands at around 50 meters tall. Inside is a grand chandelier with large marble pillars surrounding it. Religious paintings cover the walls, and light floats in from windows positioned inside the dome. Directly outside the church is a large World War I memorial remembering soldiers killed in battle between 1914 and 1919. Just around the corner is a large and very old mulberry tree that holds special significance and historical value. It's found inside a circular bench and is reported to be the tree under which the leader of the first Serbian uprising received the keys to Smederevo Fortress from a Turkish commander way back in 1805, marking liberation of Smederevo from Ottoman rule. The square is surrounded by tall buildings, and I'd say it's probably a nice place to relax when it's not raining. With that, I headed away from the city centre in order to find an old cemetery I'd seen whilst researching my trip. As I walked, I saw plenty of intriguing buildings and unusual statues. It was fascinating to see the different architecture and design from one building to the next. Smederevo is around 30 miles from Belgrade, but it felt much, much further than that. These days, around 60,000 people live in the city, which is many more than during its medieval heyday. After plenty of walking, I finally arrived at my destination, the old cemetery, positioned on a hill around the Church of the Assumption of the Holy Mother of God. The cemetery is a unique and gripping place, as spooky as it is peaceful, and somewhere seemingly forgotten by time. Although not necessarily on this visit, as before I could have a proper look around, the groundskeeper arrived to lock the gates and secure the cemetery for the evening. He was a nice chap though, and happy to wait whilst I took a final bit of video. It's one of those experiences where I look back and I think of how lucky I was to get a few minutes to look around the cemetery as opposed to arriving 15 minutes later than I did, in which case I wouldn't have seen anything at all.
It is 8 p.m. Would you believe it, after about 6 hours of solid rain, I kid you not, it has finally stopped raining and it has turned into a very pleasant evening. That is the way the cookie crumbles. Never mind, hopefully I'll be back again at some point, but right now I am going to try and catch my bus back to Belgrade. Hopefully it won't leave without me. Thanks very much for watching the video, and I'll catch you hopefully in the next one. Now where's that bus?